Hello. This evening, we are gathered here to read poetry, chat about it, light a candle, and just relax, Now, this video is not brought to you by a cemetery, which feels a little inauthentic because I've been loving filming in cemeteries, and honestly, I'll probably go tomorrow and film or just enjoy it, but it's just such a good creative space for me, so I'm really glad that you guys are enjoying that type of video because I really love it and it feels very authentic and good for me. But another thing that's good for me is just relaxing, no pressure, no expectations, we're just gonna vibe out tonight, okay? That's on the agenda. And then I have my poetry pulled up on my laptop, which honestly makes a lot more sense to do here instead of at the cemetery, because if I want to film this poetry, I guess I could sit here and transcribe it and write it out and have it in front of me, but it's completely fine typed up. I'm just not trying to bring my MacBook to the cemetery. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that that's very appropriate. So we're going to relax and light a little candle, so I'm gonna set y'all there. I feel such a strong resurgence with the lavalier microphone. It's how I started my channel, first of all. So it feels really nostalgic and cozy. So fun fact, I light candles with these, like instead of going like this, I tend to do this. Now, in all honesty, I think it's just because a lot of my candles right now are at the bottom. They're at the tail end of their life, if you will. So it's just easier to use something like this. So today we've got the white citron. I haven't lit this in forever. It's from Target and it smells like it's from a nice spirituality store. Very beautiful. It smells like what you would imagine a crystal would smell like if a crystal had a smell. So anyways, it feels very strange just having a ramble video. I really do not feel that I've done one on here in actual ages, but it's fine. It's totally fine. No pressure, no expectations on the self. I might have already said that, but we're just here. So, okay. Now, I have some poetry in front of me. I feel like it almost should be its own thing, like to give it its full life. Like to do a more artsy representation of it, and I actually do have a certain piece, I don't know if I'd even call it a poem, but just a little piece of writing that I just did the other week, and it was really healing to me to do and to speak on this, and it was like something that I didn't even know that I wanted to talk about until it just came out. And first of all, I'm about to make a reference, and I want to preface it by saying we're going to talk about Taylor Swift for 10 seconds. And before you click off, I do not listen to her music. I don't, understand you know what I'm saying? So, sorry if you do. And I'm not judging you. Maybe little, but also I'm not. But the whole, tortured poets thing, right? And then before y'all click off again, it'll be literally 20 seconds of talking about it. But I guess that she made a post on Instagram talking about, basically if you write something, if you're putting your pain or your words or whatever into a form of, writing, and you speak on the thing that has caused you pain and hurt, then you can almost, transcend it, essentially, is kind of what I gathered from that. And that, now we're done. We're done talking about Taylor Swift. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for for bearing with me. But I really resonated with that because I feel whenever I write my words, my poems, I call them poems. I don't really know what constitutes a poem. If it really, it doesn't have to rhyme. We get that. We understand that fully. But is this a stanza? Is this, I don't know what the fuck it's called. I don't know. Regardless. But I feel that whenever it just strikes me and whenever I see a visual concept in my head, and it like translates through words, and it really feels very real to me, and it's like a world building thing, and it's creating some atmosphere to safely express my feelings and by safely I just mean without judgment, without ridicule. No one else has any input in it. It's like just my thing that I'm doing for myself. That's what I categorize as poetry. So that's that. I made a document the other day on my notes app. That's a very official document, a notes app. But I went through my Instagram and I pulled all of my poetry from it, except for a couple things, because I don't really feel that they're representative of me still. Like, I wouldn't say that they're a timeless piece. I feel like they were definitely more a moment in time to communicate a certain thing I was going through, a certain feeling I was having, but it's not really something that I want to like trudge up, bring up, and present to the world. It's on there if you want to go look, kind of thing. Like, I'm not like embarrassed of it, but you know, just we grow emotionally and change emotionally and, you know, whatever. So most of these I feel are more either timeless or they're stronger, but we'll get into it and we'll just kind of talk through them. And honestly, I might end up making more of an artsy type of video at some point, reading some of this stuff. But like I said, I think a few minutes ago, like this one really vulnerable thing that I wrote recently, I'm almost scared to put it online. Like, I know that sounds weird, but I feel like it's like a subject that you probably would be like, oh, trigger warning. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just don't know. I don't know if I want to go there or not. But this stuff is definitely more palpable for everybody and it's less abrasive. I'm not saying I'll never share this other poem, but that one I have more of an idea for, like shorter form type of thing. But this is just kind of dipping our toes into that world. Also, my allergies are like acting the fuck up. I don't know about y'all, how this pollen has been hitting y'all, but for me baby, it's getting me good. Okay. So, no particular order, we'll start going through it. Finally, timestamp 7:24. Okay. Lunging towards her. I feel like I should blow my nose, but it's like, I don't know. Can I cover this? Can y'all hear? That did literally nothing. Okay. Lunging towards her, the rope got away before I could grasp it. Watching it slide down the hall, flickering lights strobe and tease what I thought was mine to hold. Yearning to escape the hole you create only splits the earth wider. Soil crumbles as you approach the exit. Pacing with defeat, return to the center with a thick air of familiarity. Grab a seat, settle. Sit with her and be done running. She will teach you something, always does, if you choose to look her in the eyes. So, I have a feeling that this video is going to be a little bit more of like an analysis instead of like artsy short form whatever, and you're really like feeling it. I personally think, well, spoken word is good. Like, some people do spoken word well. I don't personally feel that I do that well at this point. I feel like just looking at it itself in the font that it's in, by the way, it's like a typewriter type of font, and it just like looks like more of my soul whenever I'm looking at it. But whenever I say it, I feel like it doesn't really read the same way, or it's not really communicated in the same way, which that's totally fine. But the whole part about lunging towards her, the rope got away before I could grasp it. Watching it slide down the hall, flickering lights strobe and tease what I thought was mine to hold. Yearning to escape the hole you create only splits the earth wider. Soil crumbles as you approach the exit. Pacing with defeat, return to the center with a thick air of familiarity. Grab a seat, settle. Sit with her and be done running. She will teach you something, always does, if you choose to look at her in the eyes. That's funny, I was like, oh, the part about, and then I read the whole thing again. It's fine. So in my head, what I was envisioning during this was actually inspired by the place that I live in right now. And this building is an old building. I can't find any history on it for some reason, which is kind of upsetting, but it's also not in a historic district, so maybe that's why. But it had such a creepy vibe whenever I toured it for the first time, and this actually wasn't even a place that was on my radar at all. I almost was like running away from this place. I know that sounds so silly, but it's like I was trying to come up with all these, whatever, we don't need to dive into it. But anyways, so the hallways here are very spooky and creepy whenever I first moved in, because the wallpaper was like peeling back from the wall in a really eerie way. The ceiling lights were, like the hallway lights were very warm toned, and one was flickering, like a flickering bulb, and it didn't matter. Like I came here, like after I got the place, secured the place, whatever, I came here at night just to like give it a good look before I had moved all my stuff over the next day. And the hallway light, I walked in and it was like flickering, and I was like, oh my god, I love this place. I was like, this is creepy, this is spooky, and it reminded me of The Shining a little bit, mixed with some other movies probably, but The Shining really stuck out to me, like just like a creepy hotel hallway type of energy. That's exactly what this was. And it was like super faded yellow, crusty, dusty wallpaper, but I loved it so much. And it felt really comforting to me to look at it. And the color of green, so think of it like cream, and then the bottom, like the trim, I think it was the trim, was like a really faded olive, sagey green that looked dirty a little bit, but it reminded me of a funeral home for some reason. So it was really giving spooky movie, funeral home, absolutely loved. Turns out they renovated it slightly. That's a very strong statement to say that they renovated it. They painted the hall, okay, and they changed the light fixtures. So now they're fluorescent ass, bright ass lights, and they painted the hall like whitish gray. Of course they did, right? No character. Freaking white ass bright bulbs. Are you kidding me? So they ripped away and they tore away my baby, my funerary, shining wall hallway, crusty, dusty, haunted the house. And I felt such an attachment to it that I feel like during that time, I know this sounds so fucking dramatic and like, what are we even talking about right now? But I felt like a part of me was gone, because I was like, oh my god, like I treasured that hallway. I appreciated the shit out of that hallway, and now it's gone, and then the energy shifted, and now this whole place does not feel haunted anymore. But prior to moving in and me touring it and looking at it and everything, it felt haunted, and I was actually excited to live here. And I ended up telling people, I was like, oh, I'm living in this haunted place, and I'm gonna ghost hunt there, like it's gonna be so fun. But then those motherfuckers had to fuck my shit up and change the colors, and like, it's the word gentrification, like they gentrified the shit out of that hallway. Very upsetting. Anyways, what the fuck. So the poem, it's like watching it slide down the hall. It's this like rope, right? So you see this rope, you see the flickering light, it's dark, your vision keeps snapping in and out of view, and you see this thing at the end of the hall, and it's like lit up a little bit, it's glowing, it's tempting, it's taunting you a little bit, and then it gives you this urge to go forward and to go into it and to reach after it. But then it like quickly like slides away from you, and it's like a tease, and it's like it's not that it's a joke, but like it's telling you can't have this. So that's kind of what the rope was. And then it's like that idea of like someone like, but no, and they're like chasing after it. So it's like, I probably would imagine a more youthful energy as well. I'm trying to think of what age I would maybe classify. I mean, age doesn't matter. It is what it is. But sometimes we all have those feelings in our lives and those seasons in our lives where we have something we want so badly that, it's never actually going to come to us, or we might get in a little bit of a close range with it. We get an attachment and we want this thing so bad, and then it's like ripped out of view, and it's like the pain and the horror, the terror. Oh no. And this is about that innocent point, though, this poem right here. It's that innocent point of seeing that thing for the first time. It's lit up, it's glowing, you want this, but then it's telling you immediately like, no ma'am. So that's kind of what that was about a little bit. And then the part about yearning to escape the hole you create only splits the earth wider. Soil crumbles as you approach the exit. So, yearning to escape the hole you create only splits the earth wider. So if you're in a situation that you are so incredibly fed up with, you are so done, sometimes wanting out, like simply only wanting out, does not get you out of the hole. You have to put in work, you have to put in effort, you have to change, you have to let go of things, you have to sacrifice some things, and you have to be willing to do that in order to actually get out of this hole, to climb out of this hole. But simply yearning for it to go away, for this problem to go away, for whatever to go away, it only splits the earth wider. It's going to make it harder for you to get out. It's suddenly deeper. The hole is insane. And like, you made it that way though. So that's about that. And then soil crumbles as you approach the exit. So it's like, as you try, the ground doesn't support you. Like, I'm imagining, big hole. You're stuck. Like that image of a person in a hole with the ladder. I know there's some, like, I know it's not a meme. It's kind of like whenever you first discover the internet and there's like those little cartoony things that have little deep messages on them type of thing. It's like, oh, well, the ladder was there the whole time. Like, I don't know, something like that. I don't know why it's such a visceral memory, but I can't like pinpoint exactly what it is. But you're climbing out of one of those types of holes, right? But you're not using a ladder. You're just physically trying to use your body. Your feet are going to keep slipping from under you, and you're going to continue to tear rocks and soil and dirt off of that wall, and you can't really get a grip on something. So that's that feeling that I was trying to express here, is that you can't get a grip. It's just not working. And you're trying so hard, but it's still not working. And oh my God, I keep ending up in the same place, the same situation, the same outcome, the same fucking hole. Here we go again. So that's that. And then pacing with defeat, return to the center with a thick air of familiarity. Grab a seat, settle, sit with her, be done running. She will teach you something, always does, if you choose to look her in the eye. So this is kind of like you're facing your demons, yourself. You're facing yourself. All of us, myself, everybody, have spent many, many years, many, many times in life of running from your problems, running from yourself, running from the truth. The truth hurts, and sometimes we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to look at it. Oh God, oh no, shit, fuck. It sucks. It's hard. And a lot of the times you don't like what you see, and it makes you want to run further away because you don't like what you see. But the thing is, it's you. Like, how are you going to be scared of yourself, right? Like, you got all this time on earth, hopefully whatever happens, but don't you want to kind of learn to like yourself a little, maybe, and stop hating yourself so much, and stop just fucking despising yourself? Like, wouldn't that be nice? I think it would. And that's something that I've been working through recently, and I feel really excited about how that journey is going. But it took a very long time for me to get to that point. So with this line, the pacing with defeat, there comes a point where you're like, you know what? I've tried so fucking hard to get out of this hole. It has not worked. So we need to, come to Jesus, figure out what the fuck do I need to do to actually get out of this hole? And what changes do I actually need to make in order to have this happen for me? Because I'm fucking sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I'm done. I am so done. And you sometimes you think whenever you're like going through a painful situation that like that's the worst. It's not that that's the worst it's gonna get, but you're like, oh my God, like this again, oh no. It's like, but girl, like you've been doing the same pattern, so why are you still so upset when you're doing the same kind of shit, right? So pacing with defeat, at some point you're like actually defeated and you're actually ready to hang up the ghost and you're ready to, or give up the ghost. I don't know. You're just ready. And that's whenever you're starting to really take this stuff seriously and you're really ready to make those changes. So that's when I'm saying you return to the center, return to the center, return to the center of that circle, of that hole, right? It's got a thick air of familiarity. I know this all too well. I've been here all too long. It's a lot. I'm very familiar with it though. And you know what? I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to grab this seat right here and I'm going to look at the ghost. I'm going to look at the demon. I'm going to look at what is going on. And I'm like really going to sit with it and stop running from it, right? And that's what that line is. The whole sit with her, be done running. She will teach you something. Always does, if you choose to look her in the eyes. So I keep saying we all. And I don't really want to make this video too specific about like my application of like what that means to me. I kind of want this to be more of like a reflective thing for you all at this point. But you probably are aware of a certain quality that you have that you know has not done wonders for you. It's not really been the best thing for you. And I'll just give like a general example, but a common one, or just an example in general, is self-worth issues. That's one. That wasn't even the one that I was thinking about though. There's another one that I was thinking about. Abandonment issues. That wasn't even the one I was thinking either. There was another one. Hello. Is anybody home? My pinky always does this, by the way. I don't quite know what that's about. It's like a hook. It's a little cursed. Oh, Lord. Ooh, Lord. Well, regardless, there's always going to be some kind of issue that continues to show up in your life, and you're going to keep getting the same results in different shades of the same color until you actually work through that core wound, that core issue that you have. And it's very uncomfortable, but oh, my nose is so challenging. Just ignore the fact that it sounds like I'm nasally, because I really can't do anything about it right now. But it's going to keep coming up. So there comes a day where you actually do need to sit with it, look it in the eyes, and it will teach you something. It's not instant, so you can't expect, results to just be there. It's going to be a beautiful journey though. It's hard at first, but I think, and I'm such an advocate for change and for self-evolution and growth. My nose, I'm so sorry that I just breathed on you like that. You did not deserve that. Also, if I sound and seem absolutely loony cuckoo today, it's probably because I worked like a 12-hour shift. Well, first of all, our app that we use, they take out 30 minutes for lunch every day, regardless of if you take lunch or not. Is it just because they're being cheap, or is that the law? Is that a labor law? I know that you're supposed to get like 15-minute breaks or something like that at least, so maybe that's like them legally doing it. But swear, my hours were like 11-hour day before they took out my damn lunch break, even though I was still there and I was still working the whole time. But I did 2 11-hour days and a 12-hour day today. A little under 12 hours. So I'm a little, maybe not all right in the brain, but we persist. So anyways, that's that poem. And should we do another? Are we liking these longer form videos? If you don't, I honestly don't really care. I'm sorry. I'm just here to have a good time and just chit chat. And if you want to watch it, cool. If you don't, also cool. I kind of just put these out here, put them out here, and I think it's fun just to be yourself and all of the above. So let's see. Okay, I'll read one more. Ready? The bridge burns. Okay, I'll probably end up reading it twice because I don't know what cadence I want this in, and I didn't practice or anything. The bridge burn, and I've also never read these out loud. So, the bridge burns, the remains crumble, shrinking beneath my feet lie the remnants of seasons past. Walk over them. Crematory sparks dazzle and burn, catching in the breeze, floating and lining the path to the end of the map's edge, hovering over where X marks the spot of no return. A shadow and a light tumble and toss, colliding and intertwining into one soft breath. I wrote this the day after I went to, I'm not going to say it was my first cemetery because it most definitely was not, but in the state that I live in, I've driven past, or the town I live in, whatever you want to even say, but I've driven past this little place before, and I have pictures of it on my Instagram. First of all, I hate saying the word Instagram because it makes me feel like, oh my god, Instagram. But literally for me, it's just, I post pictures, I feel artistic, I move, movement, whatever. It's fun. It's fun. So whatever. Screw you, Instagram. But it's also fun. In terms of self-expression. So I wrote this after I drove by this cemetery a million times. It actually might be a graveyard. Is a graveyard where there's a church attached to it? I think it might be. But I drove by this place so many times, and there's an art and science type of place in my community, and they had a tour. So they host different workshops, events, community things, whatever, and I follow them, and I saw this event coming up that was a cemetery tour, and I was like, oh my god, a cemetery tour, absolutely. And this was at the time whenever I decided that I want to start doing fun little activities for myself and start being happy and just start enjoying myself more. And I was like, this is one of those things I should do. I would love this. So I went to it. It was a beautiful thing. I absolutely loved it. The dude, old man, loved him. He talked history. It was a really good time, and I really loved it. And there was a couple different people there. There's an older couple, probably a couple that's in their 40s maybe, and then it was me. So it was just a cute little quaint group, and I just felt very involved in my community in this moment. I was like, yes. And of course it was the cemetery and something I really liked, and I got to learn more about the state that I live in and the namesake of it all, and some illnesses and deaths that happened that related to this certain place where all these people were buried, and it was just very interesting. But anyways, I wrote this, and it was fall time, fall outside, fall leaves, fall energy, everything like that. And I just imagined in that kind of setting, I was picturing that setting in my head whenever I was writing this, because I think it was around that time that I wrote this, or the same day. I don't really remember, honestly. But I'll read it again quickly. The bridge burns, the remains crumble, shrinking beneath my feet lie the remnants of seasons past. Walk over them. Crematory sparks dazzle and burn, catching in the breeze, floating and lining the path to the end of the map's edge, hovering over where X marks the spot of no return. A shadow and a light tumble and toss, colliding and intertwining into one soft breath. Honestly, I don't really remember what my intention was with it. I feel like I just visualized it and saw it, but I'm imagining the crematory sparks dazzle and burn. It's kind of like if you burn a piece of paper and you watch it, you're watching it burn, but then it lets off and it disperses. The ashes kind of go into the air and flow with the breeze a little bit. So that's what I was picturing. And I was picturing that kind of piece of paper, and it was almost guiding you through a mystical land, but it was very a human land too. It was literally the setting that I saw, the cemetery, whatever. So it was floating through there, whatever. And then I'm imagining it leads you somewhere. This these ashes almost lead you to this spot. It's this intentional spot that you're supposed to be at, and that's where I'm saying this whole hovering over where X marks the spot of no return. I like the floating and lining the path to the end of the map's edge. So it's taking you to an unknown land or an unmarked spot. hang on, I just got distracted. I got a notification. It's like something's guiding you there. Like there's a truth, there's an understanding, there's something that you need to gain where there's this X marks the spot. So it was more of like a metaphoric X marks the spot. So there's like something in the ether that's like teasing you and guiding you, but it's not teasing you in a bad way. It's like it's encouraging you, and it's that draw for you to follow it and for it to lead you somewhere. And then you're at this spot, you found it, you identified it, you located it. And then the part of a shadow and a light tumble and toss, colliding and intertwining into one soft breath. Reading that now, I almost want to analyze it like like it's like facing your darkness, like you're looking at that dark side and you're also integrating the light into it, and you're incorporating both aspects because they're all you. Like all things are true, all the trauma, all the bad things, all the hard things that you've been through, it's shaped you, and those storylines have also shaped you, but you're almost like reclaiming your power over it by introducing this new light and this new life into it. And it's like integrating, and that's the whole line about colliding and intertwining into one soft breath. So it's like they're at odds with each other, but at the same time they end up intertwining and like becoming one. So I feel like I didn't really explain that all that well, but that one's a little bit more out there. Like it's not as much of like a concrete, I can explain what everything means perfectly. It's more of just like an energy. So maybe that wasn't really the best one to pick. Another one, I know I said that was gonna be the last one, but maybe we'll do a little bit more. The next one is, maybe it's easy for you to stow it away, to ignore what begs to be seen, to bury what you wish could displace itself and slip into the cracks, rendering itself unknown. Love this one. This one actually was a zine, which I probably literally should just go get up and get it, but it's this little zine. It's a little mini book. I took a regular piece of paper. If you've never heard of these before, you can look them up. It's like an underground art related thing. It's like self-published books and whatever, and like you can do whatever you want, and there's like an art culture surrounding it, and it's in the printmaking world as well. So I made this little zine, single piece of paper, fold hot dog, fold hamburger, whatever, cut in the middle. It's this cute little book, and I called it Stowaway Starlet. Stowaway Starlet. Maybe it's easy for you to stow it away, to ignore what begs to be seen, to bury what you wish could displace itself and slip into the cracks, rendering itself unknown. It's almost like fantasize. Again, I feel like now that I'm reading these, it's like I'm analyzing them now with my new knowledge and my feelings rather than like how I felt back then, probably, because I can't really speak to that. But how I feel now about it, it's like, you know, maybe it's easy for you to just continue to hide, to continue to lie to yourself, to continue to not face the truth. Maybe it's easy for you. Maybe it's easier for you that way. To stow it away, to shove it to the back, to put it in the closet. And that's exactly what the imagery in the zine was. It was like images of a trash bag, and like a little trash can. Like you're stowing it away, you're throwing it away, you're just getting rid of it. It still goes somewhere, but like it's out of sight, out of mind, so it's gone, right? And same thing with a closet. Yeah, of course, it's in my closet, it's under my bed, I don't see it every day, it's gone, right? But like it's still there, you know. And then I think another one that I did was like a fridge with magnets on it, like pictures on a fridge. I was kind of imagining too. I don't really know how that ties in, but maybe it's easier for you to stow it away, to ignore what begs to be seen. To ignore what begs to be seen, like literally exclamation points, highlight, red marks, everything, sirens. You're turning a blind eye to something that is very obvious and very blatantly yelling at you to like figure out, to analyze, to learn, to heal, to grow from. There's situations that keep presenting themselves to you over and over and over. It's supposed to be a red flag. It's supposed to cause you to like really like take it as a lesson and learn from it and figure it out and move on, and to not let the same thing happen over and over and over again. I don't know if that makes any sense, but to ignore what begs to be seen. It's just like self-destructive at a certain point. Like if you allow some pattern to continue to happen over and over and over and over again, you become the dumb one at a certain point. You can't play the innocence card forever if you continue to run, to hide from yourself, from the truth, from whatever. There just comes a point where it just should not be that way anymore. And it's those points where you are like fed up and done, but like you have to get that upset with yourself. Like you need to be like, I hate myself. I am so sick and tired of being sick and tired. I fucking hate this shit. I don't like myself. I'm not happy. I'm not content. I'm not proud of myself. These aren't qualities that I like. I for sure don't need this to continue in my life. Like if I actually want to have a good life, like I need to stop and I need to figure this out. So I need to stop ignoring what literally is begging to be seen. That's that. And then to bury what you wish could displace itself. So it's like burying is an action. Burying is a physical thing that you're doing. I'm physically burying this thing, but I wish that it could just displace itself. I wish it could just go away on its own. I wish it could just slip into the cracks. I wish it could just, and that's exactly the point. To bury what you wish could displace itself and slip into the cracks, rendering itself unknown, untraceable, undetectable, forgotten, gone. I wish this thing would just go away. But you have to bury it. You have to physically take action to lay it to rest and to stop that pattern and to quit. Quit, okay? It's hard. It's hard to break these habits, to quit these habits, and our habits are oftentimes our addiction to our cycles and our patterns. So that's it for now. I just read like the first 3 that I have on here. Those are not necessarily like my favorite ever. There's more on here that I feel also very deeply with, and those are a little bit older as well. But if you guys like this kind of format, I would love to and will continue to make more of these. Some are more recent and tell a little bit of a closer look into how I feel, and you can kind of see like my transformation of my growth like through my writing, I feel. So I definitely will make more because I have lots and lots of little tidbits of writing and things that inspire me and are just kind of enjoyable to do. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I don't need to apologize for myself, but like if I seem a little like over the top or dramatic or like trying to be like comedic in any way, I think I'm just tired. Maybe a little sassy, I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm like my calm, collected, like peaceful, beautiful angel. Like I'm not feeling that vibe tonight. So forgive me for, probably coming across a little unhinged, but that's completely fine because we all have our moments. So I love you all. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me as always, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.